Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first Resident Advisory Board meeting of the year. You have each been selected to represent your resident councils to participate in the plan process. The housing agency is glad to have so many busy and knowledgeable people together again this year. I'd like to start by having some of the more long-term RAB members introduce themselves and say why they continue to participate.
Hello, my name is Sandra Ramos. I live in this building and I'm the secretary of our resident council. I come back each year because I really like meeting members of other resident councils from around the city. I always learn from you all, and it's great to connect.
I'm Fred, president of the Towers Council. I like being able to weigh in on PHA policies. You know, sometimes there are policies we complain about. Well, on the RAB, we can actually voice concerns and impact policies. This was a while ago, but you all remember the no smoking policy? We were able to impact how that was implemented.
I think you all hit on the main points. And from the perspective of the PHA, we need your input. As a public housing resident, you all know firsthand your community's strengths, needs, and experiences. Fred has now agreed to explain what a PHA plan is.
The PHA Plan, we just call it the plan, has two parts, an annual and a 5-year plan. The plan details the housing agency's mission and goals, and the planned activities, programs, and policy updates to achieve the goals. Who can name a policy that is included in the plan?
Grievance procedure policy.
Policies around the rent, like how it's collected.
Programs and services that the PHA offers, such as home ownership programs.
How money is spent, budgets for maintenance, repairs, security, and other programs.
Yes, those are important ones. I'll add plans for safety. And as Brenda already mentioned, any changes to housing like redevelopment, conversions, and modernization. Anything we missed, Miss Cynthia?
I think you got all the big ones. Let's go over the timeline and process. As you know, this is a 6-month process. The reason that it takes so long is that we want residents to have a meaningful voice in the creation of the plans. I'm passing out our meeting schedule. All meetings will take place here, including the public hearing. We'll provide rides for everyone who needs one. Tonight, I'll be sharing some background materials for you to review. I'll go through these with you and let you know some of the places where we are particularly looking for resident input. I also want to point out on your schedules our public hearing. This hearing will be open to anyone, not just RAB members. We'll get the word out well in advance, but we'd also like your help in reminding your neighbors to attend. This date is key as well, because we'll need to get the RAB's feedback on the proposed plan by that date. What questions do you all have about the process?
Hi everyone, this is my first time participating. My question is, what happens to the recommendations that the RAB gives? I mean, how do we know our input matters?
Good question. The PHA is not required to agree with all of the RAB's recommendations, but we do have to consider them all. That means that in the plan that the PHA sends to HUD, we need to include information about which suggestions the RAB made, how they were analyzed, and how decisions were made around the recommendations. If the PHA doesn't agree with a RAB recommendation, it must explain why.
Okay, and what about recommendations that come from the public hearing?
We'll work together as PHA staff and the RAB to consider all the comments from the public hearing. What other questions do you have?
As the president of my resident council, I want to bring this information back to my community and hear their feedback. But we're a small property, so we don't have a lot of tenant participation funds and resources to be able to properly inform all the residents.
No problem. The PHA will set RAB members up with anything you need to fulfill your duties, including meeting with other residents. We can provide meeting and office space, printing, and office supplies like copies, pens, and a computer with internet access. Now, before we jump into looking at these materials, are there any other questions or comments?
I just want to say that it's nice to have new people here. And I want you to know that being on the RAB really can have an impact. We've been really involved in the agency's modernization plans, and I think it's really helped residents.